there, this is Datila, and welcome to the TNAIW GoGo Power Rankings show. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Burt Maclin, no relation to Steve Maclin.
I wish I was, but I'm not.
Yeah, that's why he didn't get invited to the wedding.
I tried to show up. I tried to be an usher. I couldn't get in.
That's funny. Alrighty. So what a week for Impact Wrestling. So who are you expecting to see on this week's Power Rankings?
Well, I think as we've kind of stated, at this point, you're usually going to see the champions mostly near the top after a big show. And week to week, it's very, very, it changes rapidly all the time. So this week, I definitely expect to see VBD near the top, just especially after what went down with that promo, that amazing promo. I expect to see them near the top. Also, Trey Miguel had another amazing promo as well. So those two for me.
I definitely do expect to see Trey Miguel and, of course, Right by Design. But I'm also expecting to see Deanna and Mickie James. One hell of a main event that they had on Impact Wrestling this week.
Yeah, definitely. I totally forgot them, but yes, also them.
How could you forget the Butrosa, Deanna?
I totally forgot. I'm sorry.
Get off. Get off. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. All right, sorry. I'm just kidding.
I know.
Okay. All right. But with that being said, let's play the Power Rankings. Number 10, Steve Maclin. Number 9, the Wrestling God Moose. Number 8, Digital Media Champion Joe Hendry. Number 7, World Champion Josh Alexander. Number 6, the Virtuosa Diana Purrazzo. Number 5, World Champion Jordan Grace. Number 4, X Division Champion Trey Miguel. Number 3, number 1 contender Bully Ray. Number 2, EY Murderers, Violent by Design. Number 1, Hardcore Country, Mickie James. Wow, that's sure interesting power rankings. Okay, so as always, I'm going to ask the same question I've been asking for a while now. Neither tag team champions, male or female, are on this week's power rankings. Why is that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I get they're champions, and as you've always stated, champions do carry a lot of weight in the power rankings. But why is it that the tag team champions have seemed to be MIA from the power rankings?
I think it's just a case of lack of competition in the women's division, in the knockouts division. And then in the men's division, it's not like there's no teams. I just think there's a lack of storylines going on right now, which I don't understand. And no disrespect to them, but as a team, I don't know. It just feels kind of stale, Heath and Rhino. I like them as a team, but this run, I mean, it just feels kind of boring. I don't know. I'm just not really invested at this point. But it's all because they need compelling storylines. But in case of the knockouts, they need teams. We need somebody, the Death Dolls, to feud with.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. The Death Dolls seem to be kind of right now. Seems like they're feuding. They're still feuding with Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. But aside from that, they were kind of just there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. It seems like tag team division, on both sides, is missing a compelling storyline.
Definitely.
I think Heath and Rhino are going to drop the titles to Motor City Machine Guns. Well, this is just probably me fantasy booking, but I think Heath and Rhino will drop the titles to Motor City Machine Guns, and when Ace and Chris Bay get back from New Japan, I think they'll face Motor City Machine Guns for those tag titles.
Yeah, that definitely would be a great match. And that just makes me sad because I hope, even though I would want them to win, I don't want to see Motor City Machine Guns have a short run, because I think they definitely deserve it. Because I think they've only been 2-time Impact Net Tag Team champions. So for a team as great, I would like to see them maybe have close to a year-long run with those titles. and like especially like because Impact will allow them, take the belts all over, and so hopefully that happens. But yeah, I would like to see them beat Heath and Rhino at this point.
I definitely would too. Okay, so let's start from the top of the power rankings. Okay, number 10, Steve Maclin. Do you feel Steve Maclin has earned his spot at number 10? Do you think he should be a little higher given his storyline, or you think he's just right at being number 10?
I think this week he's just right at being number 10.
I do agree with you. I think he's okay being at number 10 because help me remember, didn't he get disqualified in his match?
Yeah,
he got disqualified, but it was still a good match.
And you know what? At the end of the day, he just got married to Deonna Purrazzo. I'm pretty sure he's very happy about that as well. So
yeah,
I think that disqualification. I think he was just ready to go on his honeymoon at this point. You know what I mean? He wanted to end the match early. You know what I mean? So he could beat traffic and get out of time. You know what I mean? You gotta get to the airport like at least 2 hours before your flight.
All right, number 9, the wrestling god Moose. I mean, him and Bhupinder Gunhar. My God, like Bhupinder Gunhar keeps impressing me. And do you think Moose deserves his number 9 spot? And would it be possible that you can make a case for Bhupinder to be in this week's GoGo Power Rankings?
I agree. He deserve, if he would have won the match, he definitely would have been in it. He had one hell of a performance. Also, I think Moose number 9 is just right. And also one more thing, I'm glad, Moose is still one of the stars of the show. He's still one of the top heels. And I think he will be world champion eventually again. But I like how there are content featured on the show. But I think it was more of a happen after. I think we're going to see maybe him and Joe Hendry have a feud. And that should be fun, Both guys are good, and, both of them can cut good promos, good to great promos. So that should be fun.
So it's interesting. You think Bhupinder Gunhar would have made the list if he won? Technically, Steve Maclin lost his match because of this qualification. Yet Steve Maclin's on the list and Bhupinder Gunhar isn't.
Because I think just Steve Maclin's more over at this point.
Okay, fair point. Fair point.
Maclin's a main event at this point. He's going to be world champion in the next few months.
Yeah.
I think as soon as we move on from this bully race stuff, I think Steve Maclin will be champion. Probably I think he'll win in the March show.
Okay, fair point. All right, I definitely want to talk about number 8. I believe in Joe Hendry, who is a digital media champion. I feel like that little segment with Moose was good, but I want to see more of Joe Hendry on Impact, which is why I feel like, at least for me, he's at number 8, because even though he is champion, and like you've always said, champions do carry weight on the power rankings, I just feel like lately he's just kind of been there and not really doing much. We need to see more of Joe Hendry on Impact.
Well, why we do need to see more of him on Impact, it's not like he hasn't. I think he's defended the belt 3 times. I saw in his tweet recently in 3 different countries. So he's out there defending the belt, carrying the Impact banner. So, yes, we need to see more of him on TV, but at least we see him, and, we know he's out there, and we know who he is, and he is a star. So I think that's good. So that's why I think 8 this week is just fine.
Say his name, and he appears.
Yeah, that was a great promo.
Yeah, it definitely was. Number 7, I am shocked that it is our world champion, Josh Alexander. You would think being world champion would at least get you top 5. Why do you think Josh Alexander was at number 7? Was it because he just was not on this week's show, or was it more?
Yeah, probably. And I think this might be the lowest ever been since he's been world champion. I'm not completely positive on that, but yeah, I just think because he wasn't on the show, and when it's one thing, sometimes on a slow week when you're not on the show, you could be on there maybe, or if you at least cut a promo. But I think there was just too much going on this week. Too much happened for him if he's not going to be there to even be on the rankings. There's only 10 spots. And I know he is world champion, but things happen. It's rare, but
Yeah, I do agree with you. I feel like so much happened on this week's show that Josh being on there kind of scooted him to like number 7 because so much else happened. Like number 6, for instance, the Vuchosa Diana Peraza, one hell of a main event against Mickie James, proving why she is a main eventer.
And yeah, she lost, but she's also super over. She's a former 2-time world champion, tag team champion. Knockouts champion. So yeah, number 6. Even if she was higher, I wouldn't be upset about it. She's a star, and she's one of the main stars of the show. So completely fine with her at number 6.
I really hope she stays with Impact.
Yeah, me too.
It would be a huge loss to the Knockouts division if she leaves.
Yeah, it would be bigger than huge. It would be like massive, just because she is like really carried the torch along with Jordynne Grace these last few years.
I definitely do agree. Number 5, the world champion Jordynne Grace. Obviously, she is champion, hence why she is top 5. But out of all the champions, why is she at number 5? Like, do you think that she deserves that spot? Do you think she should have been a little lower? Because she's right above Trey Miguel. So what is it at number 4? Trey Miguel is the X Division champion. So what is it that Trey Miguel did or do that made him number 4, and yet Jordynne Grace is number 5? I mean, Jordynne Grace didn't have a match. She just came out, cut a promo with Mickie James, and Trey Miguel cut a really good promo. So what did he do to get him that number 4 spot, and what did Grace do or didn't do that got her at number 5?
Okay, first, Jordynne is higher than Josh, and that's what we've said right now. I think Jordynne is the number one champion in the show. I think her spot is fine, just like I said, because this week is stacked. Moving on to Trey Miguel, I think he could even be number 1. That promo was fantastic. I think they struck gold with heel Trey Miguel. Going forward, this is what we should see. I'm not saying he can't be a babyface because he's great at that, but I think he's better at being what we saw the little bit what we saw. I like the potential of this. I like where this is going. I like what he did. I like how he spray painted the belt. This is very heelish. It was great stuff. He was very cocky. So yeah, not only am I fine with him being with Jordynne, but I would have almost put him number 2 because I'm pretty sure we know who number 1 is going to be. But I am totally fine with this. And again, Jordynne's going to be back on top no matter what. She's the number 1 champion in the company. So
when you say back on top, you mean she'll be number 1 over Josh, or she'll be number 2 right behind Josh?
I think currently she's number 1 over Josh. I said that what's going on in the knockouts is way more compelling than what's going on in the main event scene.
Ouch!
I'm just saying, Jordynne's last 3 matches, I think it was Masha, Giselle, and Masha again, were all like potential.
Yeah.
You could say some of the best knockouts matches, and not even that, best matches in Impact history. Because that's just the slide on them, because I think they ride any match that you have seen in Impact in recent and in the history of the company. So I think Jordynne is that great right now. So yeah, I do put her over Josh. And
okay,
it's all about you're only as good as your competition, and you're only as good. You don't wrestle yourself. You're not. You can't. So that's what I'm saying. Like and so I like what's going on more in the Knockouts World Champion scene than the World Champions. That's just it.
Fair point, Burt. You always bring up good points.
Thank
you. You do. You should really toot your own horn.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So number 3, number 1 contender, Bully Ray. So he also technically lost his match because he got disqualified as well.
Yeah, but as we've seen in this show before, being number 1 contender does carry weight as well. And when you're number 1 contender, you're usually on the show a lot more match-wise compared to the world champion who's not going to be out there every week wrestling. So, and he did cut a great heel promo. So, number 3 is fine. Or I think you said number 3, or was he number 4? 3?
Number 3.
Yeah, so number 3 is fine. He's in the world championship scene as the number 1 contender. So
let me ask you this: if Bully Ray wasn't number 1 contender, the fact that he got disqualified, you think he'd be right next? You think he'd be tied with Steve Maclin at number 10? Because Steve Maclin technically also got disqualified too.
if he wasn't number 1 contender,
Mm-hmm.
most likely, or maybe not even on the rankings, just because I think in terms of, I know Bully Ray is a Hall of Famer in the company, but I think he might be sliding. That's a tough one, but I don't think he'd be where he is now if he wasn't the main event. I mean, if he wasn't number 1 contender.
Okay, no, and I definitely do agree. I think the fact that he is number 1 contender is the only reason why he's number 3. Otherwise, he would not be at that spot because he did technically get disqualified.
Yes.
Number 2, EY Murderers, Violent by Design. Are you surprised to see them at number 2? Were you expecting them to be number 1?
Yeah. Sorry. And when I said that a second ago, yeah, I had totally. Yes, I'm very shocked just because I thought that was 2 thumbs up, 10 stars, whatever you want to call it. Like, that was so brilliant. And I know a few people probably won't be sold on Diener if he is a new leader. I'm not saying I'm all in, but I think people should give it a chance because I think Diener has earned the right to at least try to be the leader or roll with this new role if that's where they're going. I think he's improved massively, just his character-wise since being in VBD in his time with Impact, in his whole time with Impact Wrestling. So let's give it time because I thought that was very well done in Impact. You know, we've seen before, Impact knows what they're doing in terms of video. In terms of video package, VBD has been great since their inception. So
I think Diener should find himself a close relative nearby or a safe house because he's probably wanted for murder.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, that's really good. But when you said a family member, that just made me think, like, I would love if they brought back, like, Jake something, and I remember because he was his cousin, brought him back in the fold and put him in VBD. That'd be great, but I don't think that'll ever happen. But that was funny. That was really good.
I was quoting Anchorman, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's funny. There was a man on fire during that fight. So
I said the man in the heart.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, definitely. I am actually kind of surprised that they are at number 2. I thought that spot would have carried them to number 1, but I guess people did not like the fact that they killed off Eric Young and that Diener is potentially taking over as leader for Violent by Design. So I guess it's understandable why they are at number 2. And last but certainly not least, number 1, Hardcore Country Mickie James. I feel, don't get me wrong, I like Mickie James. You and I have talked about this. It was a foregone conclusion that Mickie James was going to make the power rankings every week because of her last rodeo. She did main event. She did win. Hell of a match with Deonna Purrazzo. But do you think that given everything that she's done, I mean, she sent Chelsea Green home. She sent her packing pretty much. Just based on this week, do you think she deserves to take that number 1 spot over the Violent by Design, or is she okay being at number 1? But overall, too, should she be number 1, or should somebody else be number 1?
Well, like I just would have been, I would have liked to seen. I would have reversed the tooth. I would have had Mickie at number 2, Violent by Design number 1. But I'm totally fine with Mickie being number 1. Main event was great. And like I said here, she is your future Knockouts champion one last time, because I just think that this story, I wouldn't like the idea of, and for a last rodeo, I don't want her getting all the way and then like losing in a title match. Why that is fine, you know, that's fine to culminate it if they want to do that. But I just think her getting one last title reign, especially, you know, now that we're seeing a little bit bigger crowds, I think she deserves that. Because she is going to be a Hall of Famer when all is said and done. And we've talked about it. I just think there's more. I think there's more they could do with that, because I don't want to see Masha and Jordan for a while, keep them far apart. And I think you have Masha, like I said a bunch of times, you have Masha beat Mickie for the title. Mickie doesn't need a long run. I have Masha winning. You have Masha winning it like Slammiversary.
What about Rebellion in April?
That's fine too. You know, just at one of their bigger shows.
Okay, so for me, I don't necessarily, mind Mickie James at number one. It was a great main event. I know I've said that before, but it's true. Great main event with Diana. I felt like the match, because of she's on the last rodeo, I felt like that made the match predictable. And so you can make an argument and say because the match was predictable, we all knew Mickie James was going to win that. There was no way she was going to lose to Diana.
Yeah.
That could knock her down a peg or two. Just because of that match, of the predictability of that match, if you ask me, you can make that argument.
Yeah, but you could also say too, like if they're gonna have her lose to Jordan, you could have had her lose to Gianna. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't think that they set this feud up with her to lose. You know what I mean? I think they're setting up for her to win the world title.
Okay. I do think that we were wrong about Eddie Edwards. We were completely wrong about Eddie. Yeah. But we were. But I kind of do think that Mickie James beating Jordan Grace kind of would culminate the story. I mean, you can also say, what if she does lose it? Because it's a title versus a career. And, you can have Jordan Grace turn heel and be the one to get rid of Mickie James and say that she retired Mickie James pretty much. If they want to go that route. But if they don't want to turn Jordan Grace heel, then you have Mickie James win.
Yeah, just because also I don't think that there's immediately anybody that I would slide in that I would want to see. There would be a big time feud, another one for Jordan. And then Mickie, while as Mickie, there's matches that for her to have as world champ, a feud for her to have, you know what I mean? Like Mickie and Tasha's really good because I'm pretty sure Tasha was the one that beat Mickie. Mickie could get her win against her back. You could also have Mickie versus Gianna as well. You know what I mean? That's always good. And then, there's plenty of matches. So, I mean, and they don't need, it doesn't need to be a long run. They just need to kind of build Masha back up again and have her go huge, not winning streak, but just where she's just destroying people.
Yeah. I definitely do think it's definitely hard to kill starting going to be interesting in terms of Jordan Grace and Mickie James, because there's two ways it's going to go. Either Jordan wins or Mickie James wins. And I guess we got to wait and see for that. But like I said one last time, you can make the argument that her match was predictable. So it could knock her down a peg or two in this week's power rankings, honestly. But I'd see why she's number one.
All
right. Well, do you have anything else you want to say before we get ready to wrap things up?
No, just make sure you guys all go support all the content on the TNAIW YouTube channel. There's TBN, Talking Bloody Nonsense, Trina, and then also our show, and then the original show, Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling. Just real quick, they offered me a job over at TBN across the pond. Really lucrative salary, £7 million a year, but I turned it down. Because it's not about the money for me. It's not about the money for me. And also their measurement system confuses me over there. I don't know the metric too well.
Right. We're like the only country that's not on the metric system.
Yeah. Stubborn. A lot of things. Well, we won't go there.
Yeah, definitely. I will say though, you guys, before we sign off here, we are gonna have a new co-host joining us. Don't worry, Burt's not going anywhere. He's still gonna be my co-host. I would miss Burt if he were to ever leave me.
I actually got a huge pay raise.
Okay, but anywho, we can't wait for you guys to meet him next week. He is the godfather of the power rankings. He is the one and only Lucha. And he's going to be joining us next week. Going forward, he will be our third co-host. And we cannot wait for you guys to meet him. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever this video drops or whenever TNAIW releases a new video. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.